The restaurant went silent when he moved. Baek Jinho walked through the private dining room like a storm coming, and every conversation died in his wake. He stopped at the head of the grandparents' table. The grandfather looked up, smile fading. "Ah, the owner. Wonderful meal, just... I'm not here as the owner." Jinho's voice cut through the room. "I'm here as Naomi's boyfriend." Across the table, Naomi's mother went white. Her sister's mouth opened. Her father half stood from his chair. Jinho raised one hand. "Sit down. I'm not finished." The room held its breath. Hey friends, to understand how Baek Jinho ended up standing in front of Naomi Carter's family, ready to destroy them, we need to take a step back to where it started. The bill sat in the centre of the table, $850. Naomi Carter stared at it, then at her mother's expectant face across the white tablecloth. "Naomi, dear, you will get this, right?" Patricia Carter's voice carried that particular sweetness that meant it wasn't really a question. "You're doing so well at your job." Around the table, her family was already standing. Father adjusting his watch, Sister Jessica checking her phone. Brother Mark helped his wife with her coat. No one said thank you. No one offered to split it. No one looked at her. Naomi reached for her wallet. 28 years old, and her hands still wanted to shake at moments like this. She'd just gotten better at hiding it. The waiter took her card with a sympathetic smile. "Excellent restaurant choice, Mom," Jessica said, kissing her mom on the cheek. That halibut was divine. Naomi had eaten a Caesar salad. No chicken, just lettuce. Her mother had ordered it for her in front of the entire table. She's watching her figure. Just salad, dressing on the side. Like Naomi was a child who couldn't order her own food. Everyone else had steaks, pasta. The halibut Jessica couldn't stop raving about. Appetizers and drinks and dessert. Naomi got lettuce. The waiter returned with her card. Her family was already at the door. Naomi sat alone. The restaurant was beautiful, all dark wood and soft lighting, the kind of place she would never have chosen because she knew exactly how the night would end. With her paying, she grabbed her coat and walked outside. October air hit her face, sharp and cold. Her family's cars were already pulling out of the parking lot. No one had offered her a ride, even though she'd taken an Uber here. Naomi walked to the bench outside the restaurant and sat down, pulled out her phone to order an Uber. She was tired of this, the comments disguised as concern, the comparisons to her thinner, prettier sister, the constant management of her body like it was a problem that needed fixing, the reminder, always, that she should be grateful they took her in, that without them, she'd be nothing. The tears came before she could stop them. She pressed her palms against her eyes, but it didn't help. Her chest felt like it was cracking open. "Are you okay?" The voice startled her. A man stood a few feet away, dark hair styled back, sharp features, Korean, late 20s, maybe early 30s, watching her with an expression she couldn't quite read. She wiped her face quickly. "I'm fine, just tired. I'm the owner here." He gestured back at the restaurant. "I saw what happened inside." Her stomach dropped. "I'm so sorry if we... You have nothing to apologise for." He stepped closer. Not crowding, just close enough that she could see his face in the parking lot lights. "But they do." Naomi blinked. "What?" "Your family." His jaw tightened. "I watched the whole dinner, how they ordered your food for you, made you pay for everyone without a thank you." He paused. That wasn't nice. Strangers didn't notice these things. Strangers didn't care. "Why do you care?" It came out sharper than she meant. "Because I hate bullies." He said it like it was obvious. "And your family are bullies." Something in her chest broke open. The tears came back, harder this time. She couldn't stop them, couldn't even pretend anymore. He didn't tell her to calm down, didn't rush her, just waited. When she could finally breathe, he spoke again. "The restaurant's closed now. Come inside. I'll make tea." The smart thing to do would be to say no, but she was so tired of going home alone, so tired of pretending everything was fine. Okay, inside the staff was cleaning up. He led her to a corner booth, disappeared into the kitchen, and came back with 2 cups of tea. He sat across from her and didn't say anything. Naomi wrapped her hands around the warm cup. "They adopted me when I was 5. From foster care. I was the only black kid in an all-white family." He nodded but didn't interrupt. "Since then, I've been trying to earn their love, trying to be quiet enough, grateful enough." Her voice cracked. "But I always seem to fall short," he said quietly, "because the problem isn't you. They remind me all the time that they saved me, that I should be grateful. Without them, I'd be nowhere." She took a shaky breath. Tonight wasn't even unusual. Every family dinner is like this. They order my food, make comments, laugh at my... She stopped. At what? His eyes stayed on hers. She looked down. "My weight." Silence stretched between them. "Every single time," she continued, voice barely above a whisper. "Are you sure you should eat that? We're just worried about your health. Your sister was always so disciplined." Her hands tightened around the cup. "Hold on. Why am I telling you this?" she said. "Because you need someone to listen to you," he replied, and she couldn't help but think that maybe he was right. "They say it's because they love me." She laughed, but there was no humour in it. "But Jessica can eat whatever she wants. Mark too. It's only ever me they police. Because they want you small," he said. "Not just your body, your voice, your presence, everything about you. They want you small enough to control." The truth of it hit her like a punch. And I let them. Her eyes burned. Years and years of doing everything they want, and it's still not enough. "You don't owe them that. You don't owe them anything." "I do owe them. They saved me when they adopted me," she said. But even as she said it, she could hear how she'd been trained to think. That was their choice, not an obligation you have to spend your life repaying, he replied. She looked up at him. Gosh, he was handsome. "Why are you being so nice to me?" she asked. "I told you earlier, I don't like bullies." He said it simply, like it was obvious. They sat in silence for a moment. "I'm Naomi. Bayek Jinho. Thank you for the tea and for listening. Can I see you again?" The question surprised them both. She hesitated. "I don't think that's a good idea." "Why not?" he asked. "My family wouldn't approve." "I don't care what they think. They'll have opinions about you being Korean, about me dating at all, about everything." "Naomi." He leaned forward slightly. "When's the last time someone chose you?" She couldn't remember. "Let me take you to dinner. Here, after hours. Just us." She should have protected herself, should have said no, but his eyes were so dreamy and she got lost. "Okay." His smile was genuine. "Friday?" "Friday." He drove her home that night, got her number, texted the next day just to make sure she was okay, and Naomi Carter felt something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. Friday came faster than she expected. Naomi changed outfits 4 times before settling on a burgundy dress she'd bought 2 months ago and never worn. Standing in front of her mirror now, she almost changed again. The dress hugged every curve, every roll, every part of her family spent years teaching her to hide. She reached for her black cardigan, the one that covered everything, then stopped. Jinho had seen her crying in a parking lot, had listened to her break down. If he was going to judge her, He would have done it already. She left the cardigan on the bed. The restaurant was dark when she arrived, except for one lit table near the back. The door was unlocked. Soft music played from somewhere. Jinho stood near the kitchen in dark slacks and a black button-down, sleeves rolled up. He smiled when she walked in. You came. You thought I wouldn't? I thought you might talk yourself out of it. He pulled out her chair. I'm really glad you didn't. She sat, suddenly aware of how the chair felt, how the dress stretched across her thighs. Old instincts kicked in. Sit up straighter, take up less room, be smaller. She forced herself to breathe. Jinho disappeared into the kitchen and returned with 2 plates. Not salad, real food. Seared salmon with roasted vegetables and jasmine rice. I didn't know what you liked, he said, setting it in front of her. So I made what I'd want to eat. She stared at the plate, at the portion that was normal, generous even, not diet-sized, not apologetic, not a salad with dressing on the side. This looks incredible. It's been a while since I actually cooked for someone. He sat across from her. Usually I'm managing the kitchen, not in it. She took a bite. The salmon was perfect, buttery and tender. Oh my God, this is amazing! Better than lettuce? She laughed. Significantly better than lettuce. They ate in comfortable silence before he spoke again. Tell me something about you that has nothing to do with your family. The question caught her off guard. I'm an accountant. Something else? She thought for a moment. I'm really good at my job, like scary good. I passed my CPA exam first time with one of the highest scores in the state that year. That's incredible. You shouldn't have to shrink. He continued, not an opinion. You take up space. You're supposed to take up space. You're human after all. That's not something to apologize for. Her throat went tight. She'd spent years being told she needed to diet. My sister got engaged last month, she heard herself say. At the announcement dinner, my aunt said Jessica looked like a princess. Then she turned to me and said, maybe one day you'll find someone who doesn't mind. Jinho went completely still. Doesn't mind what? She didn't finish the sentence. Naomi's hands curled into fists. Everyone at that table knew exactly what she meant. Maybe one day I'll find someone who doesn't mind my weight. She waited for him to flinch, to suddenly check his phone, to remember he had somewhere else to be. Instead, he leaned forward. You know what I mind? She shook her head. I mind that they made you believe you're the problem, when the only problem is them. She couldn't speak. When was the last time someone defended her like this? Like she was worth defending? There's only one person in my family who's ever been kind to me, she said quietly. My cousin Emma. She's younger, 24. She's the only one who doesn't make comments about my weight or treat me like I owe them something for existing. Just one person. Jinho's expression darkened. Out of your entire family, just Emma. Naomi looked down at her hands. She tries sometimes to speak up when they go too far, but she gets shut down pretty fast. My mum usually says something like, Emma, you're too young to understand, or we're just concerned about Naomi's health. So Emma stopped trying as much. She just texts me after to check if I'm okay. She sounds like a nice person. She is. Naomi smiled sadly. But even she can't really help. Not when it's all of them against me. Jinho was quiet for a moment. I'm sorry. For everything. The tears came then. She grabbed her napkin, laughing and crying at the same time. You barely know me. Then, let me. He sat back. No more family talk tonight. Tell me what you actually like. What makes you happy? What would you do if you didn't spend every second worrying what people thought? So she told him. About the true crime podcasts she binged. how she learned to bake sourdough during lockdown, about the travel Instagram she followed obsessively but never thought she'd be brave enough to actually go anywhere alone. Jinho was quiet, then, want to know what I see when I look at you? She wasn't sure she could handle it, but she nodded. I see someone beautiful. He said it plain, like he was stating a fact. Someone brilliant and funny and kind, even after years of people treating her like she was disposable. She was full on sobbing now, trying to muffle it with her napkin. He came around the table, crouched beside her chair, close, but not touching, just there. I'm sorry, she gasped. I'm ruining dinner. Nonsense. You're not ruining anything. His voice was so gentle. You're allowed to feel. You're allowed to cry. You're allowed to just be. She looked down at him through tears. They stayed like that until she ran out of tears. When she could breathe again, he stood and held out his hand. Come on. Where? Kitchen. I made dessert. I really shouldn't. Says who? She blinked. What? Who says you shouldn't? Your family's not here. It's just us. He smiled. And I made molten chocolate lava cake because you mentioned once you loved it. But your mum always made comments when you ordered it. He'd remembered. A throwaway comment from their first conversation. She took his hand. Okay. Yeah. Let's have dessert. His smile could have powered the whole city. Now we're talking, Naomi. In the kitchen, he pulled 2 perfect lava cakes from the oven, plated them with vanilla ice cream. They ate standing at the counter, and when the chocolate oozed out, rich and perfect, Naomi closed her eyes. Good? He asked. Perfect. And for the first time in longer than she could remember, she didn't count calories, didn't think about what her mother would say, didn't apologize for wanting something sweet, and it felt like freedom. Hold on, friends, before we continue, let me ask you something. Have you ever spent your whole life trying to earn love that was never going to come? If Naomi's story is hitting too close to home right now, go ahead and hit that like button. It tells me these stories matter, that you need to see women like Naomi, plus size, black, adopted into a family that never saw her, finally get chosen by someone who thinks she's perfect exactly as she is. Drop a comment and let me know, because what's about to happen next is going to change everything. Now, let's get back to the story. They saw each other every week after that, then twice a week. Then she stopped counting because Jinho became part of her life, late dinners at his restaurant after it closed, long conversations that stretched past midnight. By month 3, she stopped flinching when he touched her. By month 4, she stopped waiting for him to leave. By month 5, she started believing this might actually be real. Her family didn't know. She kept Jinho separate, protected, a secret she guarded because she knew what they'd do to something good if she let them near it. One evening, she was at his apartment. They'd just finished dinner, something simple he'd cooked. She sat curled on his couch with her laptop, working on Monday's presentation. He was in the kitchen cleaning up. Her phone rang. Mom. She almost let it go to voicemail, but ignoring Patricia Carter only made things worse. Hi, Mom. Naomi, sweetheart, I need to ask you something important. Particular tone that meant it wasn't really a question. Your grandparents' 50th anniversary is coming up. We thought you could plan it. Her stomach dropped. Mum, I don't think I have time. You're so organized, and you don't have a husband or children taking up your schedule, so really it's perfect. There it was. Your life is empty enough to fill with what we need. I work full-time. I can't just, which you do from your laptop. You can work from anywhere. A calculated pause. This is family, Naomi. Family comes first. Unless you're too busy. Is there something you're not telling us? Someone, perhaps. The trap snapped shut. She felt Jinho watching her from the kitchen. No, she lied. Nothing like that. I'll do it. Wonderful! I knew we could count on you. I'll email the details tomorrow. Love you. The line went dead. Naomi sat staring at her phone like it had bitten her. Jinho came over, sat beside her. What happened? Grandparents' 50th anniversary. She set the phone down carefully. My mum just volunteered me to plan the entire thing. Tell her no. It's not that simple. Yes, it is. One word. No. You don't understand. If I say no, I'm ungrateful, selfish, forgetting everything they've done for me. What have they done for you? Sharp edge in his voice. Adopt you. That was their choice. Not a debt you repay forever. It's not that simple with them. It is exactly that simple. They've trained you to feel like you owe them, like you're lucky they let you exist in their world. He shifted closer. But you don't owe them a damn thing. Not your time, not your energy, nothing. It's just a party. Let me guess. You'll do all the work for free. They'll criticize every decision. When it's over, they'll take credit and you'll be right back where you started, trying to earn love they'll never give. She stayed quiet because he'd just described her entire life. Use my restaurant, he said suddenly. What? For the venue. Use mine. Jinho, I can't ask you to. You're not asking. I'm offering. Firm. Final. For free. That's too much. Do you know how much? I know exactly how much, and I'm telling you it's free. No room for argument. At least let me do this for you. She looked at him. She was so lucky to have him in her life. Thank you. And I'll be there, he added, at the event. Her stomach dropped. What? They need to know we're together. I think it's time I met them. No! The word came out sharp. No, you can't. He blinked. Why not? Because... She stood up, started pacing. Because they'll be awful. They're always awful. And if you're there, if you see how they really treat me, I already know how they treat you. No, you know what I've told you. That's different from seeing it. Her voice was rising. It's different from watching them pick me apart in person, from hearing the comments. Naomi, no. She grabbed his arms. Please, please don't come. I'm begging you. He looked at her for a long moment. You're serious. I can't. Her voice broke. I can't watch you see me the way they see me. I can't watch you realize they're right. That I'm too much. That I'm not worth. Stop. He pulled her close. That's not going to happen. You don't know that. Yes, I do. He held her face in his hands. Nothing they say or do will change how I see you. But what if it does? She was sobbing now. What if you're there and you see me through their eyes and you finally get it? That I'm the problem. That I've always been the problem. You're not the problem. They are. Please just let me do this alone, like I always do. Let me get through it and come back to you after, and we can pretend it didn't happen. Jinho was quiet for a long time. She could see him thinking, weighing. Okay, he said finally. She sagged with relief. Okay, I won't be there as your boyfriend. They won't know we're together. He paused. But I own the venue, Naomi. I'll be there managing the event. That's non-negotiable. It's my restaurant. Jinho! That's the compromise. His voice was firm. I'll stay in the background. I won't interfere. She wanted to argue, wanted to beg him to just let his managers handle it. But she could see in his face he wouldn't budge. Fine, she whispered. Just... Please don't let them know about us. Please. They won't hear it from me. He kissed her forehead. But, Naomi, if they cross a line, I'm not making any promises about staying quiet. She nodded, because it was the best she was going to get. 4 months blurred together after that. Guest lists that changed weekly, menu selections requiring 3 family approvals, seating charts Patricia revised 5 times. Naomi coordinated everything, worked her job during the day, planned the party at night, met with Jinho's coordinator, ordered flowers, designed invitations, selected centerpieces. She fell into bed exhausted every night. Jinho helped where he could, let her work from his office, made dinner when she forgot to eat, rubbed her shoulders when the headaches started. The morning of the anniversary, Naomi woke up with her stomach in knots. She got ready alone in her apartment, put on a long, beautiful black dress that hugged every curve, the one her mother would hate. Jinho texted, "I'll be there early setting up. You won't see me unless you need me." She stared at that message. "Thank you," she typed back, "for respecting this. I love you. Remember that." She drove to the restaurant alone, arrived at 6 sharp. The restaurant looked perfect. Every detail she'd spent these past months planning had come together flawlessly. White roses on every table, soft lighting, elegant place settings. Jinho's staff moved efficiently in the background. Professionally, Jinho was nowhere to be seen. She knew he was there, somewhere in the back, managing things. But he'd kept his promise, staying hidden, letting her handle this alone. Her family arrived in waves, her parents first, her mother immediately scanning the room with critical eyes, her sister Jessica with her fiancé Brandon, her brother Mark and his wife, aunts, uncles, cousins, and she and Emma hugged each other with smiles. She stood near the entrance, greeting people as they came in, playing the good daughter, the organizer who'd made this all happen. No one thanked her. Cocktail hour started, the private dining room filled with conversation and laughter. Naomi accepted a glass of wine from a server and tried to blend into the background. "Naomi!" Her mother's voice cut through the chatter. "You came alone, again." The room didn't go completely silent, but enough people turned to look. Enough to make her skin prickle. "I'm fine, Mom." "Of course you are, sweetheart." Patricia smiled at that particular smile. "I just worry about you, always. Working, never making time for your personal life." Aunt Linda materialized beside her. "Oh, honey, don't worry. Someday someone will want to be seen with you. You just have to put yourself out there more." A few cousins laughed. Not mean exactly, just casual, like her loneliness was a joke they'd all heard before. Jessica appeared with Brandon. "I would have set you up with one of Brandon's friends, but..." She trailed off meaningfully. "You know, it's difficult." "Difficult how?" Naomi's voice was steady even though her hands wanted to shake. "Just finding someone who's the right fit." Jessica's smile was apologetic, but her eyes weren't. "Someone who's into the same things you're into." "Naomi's married to her work." Her mother again, louder now, performing for the room. Naomi forced a smile and excused herself. In the kitchen doorway, hidden from view, Jinho watched. His jaw was locked so tight it hurt. Dinner began. Naomi found her assigned seat close to her mother, but no one looked her way. The meal was beautiful. Jinho's kitchen had outdone themselves. Each course was perfectly prepared, elegantly plated. Naomi barely tasted any of it. Her stomach was too tight. Dessert arrived. Chocolate lava cake with raspberry coulis and vanilla ice cream. The same dessert Jinho had made for her that first night. She wondered if he'd chosen it on purpose. She picked up her fork. "Naomi," her mother's voice, "are you sure you should be having dessert?" Naomi's fork stopped halfway to the plate. The room wasn't silent, but enough people were watching now. Enough to make her face burn. "We're just worried about your health, sweetheart." Aunt Carol's voice, concerned and sticky sweet. Naomi set down her fork. "You're right. I'm full anyway." She pushed the plate away. Several relatives nodded approvingly. Someone patted her mother's hand. You're such a good mum, always looking out for her. Emma, seated at a nearby table, started to stand. Leave her alone. She can eat whatever she... Emma. Patricia's voice was sharp. Don't encourage bad habits. We love Naomi. That's why we're concerned. Emma sat back down, jaw clenched, looking at Naomi with apology in her eyes. Across the room, Jinho's eyes found hers. She saw the rage in his face, saw him start to move. She shook her head, tiny, desperate. Please don't. He stopped, stayed where he was. Barely. Naomi excused herself quietly. No one noticed. She walked toward the hallway near the bathrooms, just needed a minute to breathe, to compose herself, to... It really was generous of Mom and Dad to take her in all those years ago. Aunt Carol's voice, from around the corner. Naomi froze. I know. Aunt Linda. They literally saved her from that awful foster system. Can you imagine where she'd be without this family? Nowhere good, that's for sure. Naomi should walk away, should leave, should... The least she can do is contribute financially. I mean, after everything they've done for her. Well, she did pay for tonight. What was it? A couple thousand. Good. She owes them that much. They fed her, clothed her, gave her a home. This is just paying back her debt. Exactly. And it's not like she's real family anyway. This is the price of admission. Blood is thicker than water. She should be grateful they even let her sit at the table. They both laughed. Then they turned the corner and saw Naomi standing there. Heard everything. Aunt Carol didn't even look embarrassed. Oh, Naomi, honey, you know we didn't mean anything by it. We love you. You're just so sensitive, sweetheart. Aunt Linda touched her shoulder, patronizingly. We're being honest. That's what family does. They walked past her, back toward the party, still laughing. Naomi stood frozen in the hallway. Jinho had heard it too, all of it. He'd been coming to check on her and stopped when he heard the aunts talking. Now he stood 20 feet away, watching Naomi's face crumple, watching her try to hold it together, watching her fail. That was it. He was done. He moved. Not rushed, just purposeful and calm and absolutely terrifying. Naomi turned and saw him and her stomach dropped. She stepped into his path, grabbed his arm. Jinho, please don't. He stopped, looked down at her. His eyes were dark and furious. But when he spoke, his voice was gentle. I'm not letting this continue. Jinho! But he was already moving past her, walking toward the main dining room. She followed, heart pounding, wanting to stop him and wanting to let him do this in equal measure. The restaurant went silent as he walked through it. Conversations died mid-sentence. Forks stopped, halfway to mouths. Everyone felt the shift in the air, the way you feel a storm coming. Jinho stopped at the head of the grandparents' table. Her grandfather looked up, smile fading. Ah, the owner. Wonderful meal. Just wonderful. I'm not here as the owner. Jinho's voice cut clean through the room. Confusion rippled across faces. I'm here as Naomi's boyfriend. The room erupted, not loudly, but the shock was physical. Her mother's wineglass stopped halfway to her mouth. Jessica's hand flew to her mouth. Her father half stood from his chair, face already going red. Now wait, Her father started. Sit down. Jinho didn't raise his voice, didn't need to. I'm not finished. Her father sat. Jinho turned slowly, making eye contact with different people around the room. When he spoke again, his voice carried to every corner. I've been watching you all night. He paused, let the silence stretch. You mocked her for being alone, made jokes about her never finding someone, about how difficult it would be to set her up with anyone. He looked directly at her mother, at Jessica, at Aunt Linda. I was standing right there. She's not alone. She hasn't been alone for 6 months. Jessica started crying. Aunt Linda looked at the floor. Emma, still at her table, had tears streaming down her face. You shamed her for wanting dessert, in front of everyone, told her she shouldn't eat it, suggested she just eat the berries. His jaw tightened. And then, Jinho's voice dropped to something lethal. I heard your aunts, in the hallway, telling Naomi that she owes you, that paying for tonight was just her settling her debt, that she should be grateful you took her in, that she's not a real family anyway. Aunt Carol looked sick. Aunt Linda was shaking. I heard every word. The room was dead silent now. Her mother stood, tears streaming. You don't understand. We do love her. No. Jinho's voice was steel. You love the idea of yourselves as saviours. You adopted a black child so you could tell people you did, so you could feel progressive and generous and good about yourselves, but you never actually intended to love her. That's not true. You've made her feel like she owes you for existing. Like she should spend her life being grateful you didn't leave her in foster care. Like love is something she has to earn by being smaller and quieter and less than she is. And she believed you, Jinho continued. That's the worst part. She actually believed that she owed you everything, that she wasn't good enough, that she needed to keep trying to earn something you were never going to give. Who the hell do you think you are? Her father was standing now, face purple with rage, coming in here and, I'm the man who owns this restaurant. Jinho said it quietly, which means I decide who stays and who leaves. The room went very still, and I'm asking you to leave. What? Her grandfather looked genuinely confused. This is our anniversary dinner, her grandmother started. This is Naomi's event, Jinho cut her off. That she planned, that she paid for, and you spent the entire evening treating her like garbage in front of everyone. He gestured toward the exit. Get out of my restaurant. We paid for this event, her father sputtered. No, Naomi paid for this, $5,000, which you will reimburse her, tonight, before you leave the parking lot. You can't make us... Uncle George stood, puffing up. Jinho pulled out his phone, made a call, spoke in Korean, quick and sharp. 30 seconds later, 5 men in dark suits walked through the entrance. They weren't restaurant staff. Anyone could see that. They moved differently, stood differently. Their eyes were hard and their expressions were blank, and everyone in that room could feel the danger coming off them. Jinho's crew, the room went dead silent. Jinho pocketed his phone. When he spoke again, his voice was deadly calm. You have 2 options. No one moved. Option 1, you leave, quietly, right now. Before you reach your cars, you Venmo Naomi the money she spent on this event. I don't care how you split it up. That's your problem. And, after tonight, you don't contact her, not unless she reaches out first. He let that sit for a moment. Option 2, you make this difficult. You refuse. You argue. You try to spin this into something it's not. He looked at the men standing by the entrance, then back at the family. And I make your lives difficult. I have resources you can't imagine, business connections, political connections, other kinds of connections. The threat hung in the air. I can ruin your businesses, your reputations, your comfortable little lives. I can make you wish you'd chosen option 1. Her mother was shaking. Are you threatening us? I'm giving you a choice. His expression didn't change. I suggest you choose wisely. For a long moment, no one moved. Then her grandfather slowly stood, helped her grandmother up. Her mother grabbed her purse with trembling hands. One by one, they stood, gathered their things. No one spoke. No one looked at Naomi. Only Emma stopped. She broke from... The line came straight to Naomi. Her eyes were red and swollen. She pulled Naomi into a tight hug. I love you. Emma whispered. You deserved so much better than all of us, so much better. Then she was gone, following the rest of the family out. Within 10 minutes, the restaurant was empty. Just Naomi, Jinho, his staff quietly cleaning up. The 5 men in suits left as silently as they'd arrived. Naomi's phone started buzzing, Venmo notifications, on and on, different amounts from different family members. They paid. Every single one of them. Within 8 minutes of leaving, Naomi stared at her phone, at the long list of notifications, at the money appearing in her account. Jinho came to stand beside her. They paid, she said numbly. Good. She looked up at him. You just destroyed my family. No. His voice was gentle. They destroyed themselves. I just stopped letting them destroy you. And then, finally, Naomi broke. Not the quiet, controlled crying she'd done before. This was different. This was 23 years of holding everything in finally coming up and out, and she couldn't stop it. Her whole body shook with it. Ugly, gasping sobs that hurt her chest and made her double over. She couldn't breathe right, couldn't think, could only feel everything she'd been carrying for so long, finally breaking free. Jinho pulled her close and held her, didn't tell her to calm down, didn't tell her it was okay, just held her while his staff quietly finished cleaning and slipped out, leaving them alone in the empty restaurant. She cried for 20 minutes, maybe longer. Time felt weird and stretched out. When she could finally breathe again, her face was swollen and her throat was raw and she felt emptied out. What did I just do? Her voice came out hoarse. You didn't do anything. I did. They're never going to forgive me. Good. He pulled back to look at her. You don't need their forgiveness. You need your freedom. She looked at him, this man who'd just destroyed her entire family for her. What now? Now you're free. He wiped her face gently. He took her home, to his apartment, made her tea she didn't drink, sat with her on the couch while she stared at nothing and tried to process what had just happened. What you said about resources, she said finally. Other connections. Did you mean? Yes. And you would have? Yes. If they'd chosen option 2, I would have destroyed them. He said it simply, like it was obvious. Every business deal your father has, your brother's reputation, your sister's wedding plans, all of it. She should have been scared, should have been horrified. She wasn't. Thank you, she whispered. He pulled her close. You don't have to thank me for basic human decency. I do, when I've never had the courage to do it myself. 3 months later, Naomi's life looked completely different. She'd moved in with Jinho a month after the anniversary, just showed up one day with boxes, and he'd helped her unpack without asking questions. Just cleared out drawers and made space like he'd been waiting for her all along. Work promoted her to senior accountant, better pay, better hours, her own team. Her boss said she'd earned it years ago, but he was glad she was finally letting herself shine. She started therapy. Twice a week at first, then once. Processing years of being told she wasn't enough, learning that love shouldn't hurt, that family shouldn't feel like walking on glass. Her phone stayed quiet. No one from her family called anymore. Well, almost no one. She'd waited for days after the anniversary if any of them would call, but they didn't, so she blocked them everywhere. The only person she answered was Emma. They met monthly, talked about work and books and nothing heavy. Emma never mentioned the family unless Naomi asked first, and Naomi rarely asked. It was the healthiest relationship she'd ever had with anyone from that family. One Saturday morning, Jinho left early for brunch service at the restaurant. Naomi was still in bed when the doorman called up. Jessica Carter here to see you. Her stomach dropped. She should say no. Should tell him to send her away. but curiosity won. "Send her up!" Jessica looked terrible. Clothes wrinkled like she'd slept in them, no makeup, and Jessica always wore makeup, hair in a messy ponytail. She'd lost weight, but not in a good way. Naomi opened the door, but didn't move aside. "What do you want, Jessica?" "Can I come in?" "No." "What do you want?" Jessica's face crumpled a little. "I got fired 2 months ago." Naomi stayed quiet. "They found out I lied on my resume about my MBA. I never actually finished it. Was 3 classes short, but I told them I graduated." The words came out in a rush. HR did a background check when they were considering me for VP, and everything fell apart. She waited for Naomi to react. Naomi didn't. "I've been applying everywhere. No one will hire me. My industry is small. Word got around." Jessica's voice broke. "You work in accounting. You have connections. I thought maybe you could help me find something, put in a good word somewhere." Naomi stared at her sister for a long moment. "You want me to risk my professional reputation to help you?" "You're my sister. Now I'm your sister." The laugh that came out was bitter. "I'm sorry about that night. I was wrong. We were all wrong." "You're not sorry. You're desperate." Jessica started crying. "Please, Naomi, I don't have anyone else to ask." Interesting how that works. But even as she said it, Naomi was already stepping aside. "Come in." Jessica walked into the apartment and stopped. Took in the floor-to-ceiling windows, the expensive furniture, the view of the city. "This place is beautiful," she exclaimed. Naomi walked to the dining table, opened her laptop, typed for a few minutes while Jessica stood there awkwardly. Then she grabbed a notepad and wrote quickly, "Here's what you're going to do." She slid the paper across the table without looking up. "Stop lying. Own the MBA thing. People respect honesty after a mistake more than continued lies. Focus on entry-level or coordinator positions at smaller firms. Your actual experience counts, even without the degree. I'm giving you 3 company names. HR contacts I know personally. They're hiring. Use my name as a professional reference for work ethic only, not as your sister. If they ask, tell them I'm a professional contact who can speak to your reliability. Be honest in interviews. Explain you made a mistake. You're fixing it. You're willing to start over." Jessica grabbed the paper like it was a lifeline. "Thank you. I don't know how to... I don't deserve..." Naomi stood, walked to the door, opened it. "I gave you 3 job contacts. That's the last thing you'll ever get from me." "Naomi, please, can't we just..." "We're done, Jessica. But we're family." "Family? You know I waited for days after the anniversary for you guys to call. But nobody did. Some family you are." "I said I'm sorry. What more do you want?" "I want you to leave." Jessica stood but didn't move toward the door. "What about holidays? What about when Mum and Dad? I'm done performing for people who will never love me." Naomi's voice was steady. "If those companies call me for a reference, I'll be professional. I'll confirm you work hard, you meet deadlines, you're reliable. That's it. But we're done. Don't contact me again. Don't show up here. Don't call. Don't email." The door closed. Jinho came home 30 minutes later and found her on the couch, staring at nothing. "What happened?" she told him. "How do you feel?" "Lighter." She leaned into him. "I helped her because I wanted to prove I'm better than them, but I'm done, really done." He kissed the top of her head. "Proud of you." 3 months after that, Jinho took her to his restaurant after hours, private dinner, just the 2 of them. He cooked for her himself, the same dishes he'd made on their first real date. After dessert, he got on one knee. "I don't want you to earn anything from me. You already have all of me. Marry me." She was crying and laughing at the same time. Yes, You should work on your proposal speech, she said jokingly as she kissed him, but he said nothing as he slid the ring onto her finger. She asked, "When did you know that you loved me?" "Second date. You laughed at something I said, and I knew then that I wanted to hear that sound for the rest of my life." Months after the anniversary, Jinho opened his 5th restaurant. He named it Naomi's. The grand opening was small and perfect. His parents had flown in from Seoul, his younger sister and her husband, Naomi's boss and 2 work friends, her therapist, who she'd invited as a friend. Emma? Jinho's mother hugged Naomi the moment she arrived, didn't speak much English, but the warmth needed no translation. "So beautiful," she kept saying. "Jinho talks about you all the time." His father was more formal, shook her hand properly. The restaurant was beautiful, modern and elegant with touches that reminded her of Jinho. Dark wood, soft lighting, an open kitchen where you could watch the chefs work. Above the bar, in elegant script, Naomi's. "You named it after me," she said, still not quite believing it. "Of course I did." He pulled her close. "You're the best thing I ever built." During dinner, his father stood to give a toast. He spoke mostly in Korean, Jinho translating quietly for Naomi. "To family," his father said, raising his glass. Everyone raised their glasses. Naomi looked around the table, Jinho's mother smiling at her, his sister laughing at something Emma said, the crew members looking almost soft as they ate, her work friends, her therapist, all the people she'd chosen and who'd chosen her back. This was her family now, not the people who raised her, the people who showed up, who stayed, who loved her without conditions. Jinho pulled her aside later into a quiet corner while everyone was eating dessert. "You okay?" She looked back at the table, at the laughter and warmth and genuine affection, at people who wanted her there not because they had to, but because they chose to. "I'm home," she said. He smiled, kissed her. "Yeah, you are." And for the first time, Naomi Carter understood what that word actually meant. Not a place, a feeling. Being chosen, being loved, being enough, just as she was. The end. Hey, friends. Have you ever had to walk away from family who treated your existence like a debt you could never repay? Sometimes your real family is the person who stands up when everyone else sits down. If this story reminded you that you don't owe anyone your dignity, that being too much for people who wanted you small just means you're exactly right for someone who wants all of you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because stories like this, where plus-size black women get defended by men who see their worth, these stories matter, and I'm not done telling them. Drop a comment and tell me what you think about this story. Don't forget to tell us where you are watching from.